All right,
So
Peacemaker. I'm curious.
Peacemaker, or you want to do Peacemaker first?
I plowed through Peacemaker because I had only seen the first couple episodes when it first came out 3 years ago.
So you've seen season 1 and
So I saw all of season 1 and episode 1 of season 2.
All right. So I've seen all that. I watched season 1 like a few weeks ago, and then I just watched season 2 episode 1. So we're both caught up.
We're both caught up, 100% with America. So
all right. So first question for you is, how do you feel about the change from the season 1 dance number to the season 2 dance number?
It has to grow on me. The season 1 dance number has a much better earwig, or what is it called? Earworm?
Earworm?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully it's not a carnivorous earwig like they had in Star Trek. But I thought, they're both funny dances. Yeah, they're both funny dances, but I think the first one just has a better song. And it's an interesting, I know they want to separate, but you figure that was one of the trademark pieces of the show to me. Mm-hmm. So I figured there was no need to...
Right?
It's pretty iconic. And it's also, once you find out, it's not a song that was made for the show. That was just a rock song from like 15 or 20 years ago, which I thought was fascinating because it's such a corny song. But
it plays like an 80s song.
Exactly,
right?
Yeah.
Like it could be an 80s song, but it's like this Norwegian 80s style band.
There's a lot of bands, especially in Europe, that still kind of do that. They, which is fine. I mean, rock and roll, man. But I looked it up. It was from 2010, which was so interesting to me because I figured if it was a real song, I figured 89 from Cinderella, or a band that I just don't know a lot of because James Gunn is really good at digging out deep tracks. Mm-hmm. That's the James Gunn shines through in the series where the music is very, James Gunn.
He was a musician at one point, I think.
I believe so. Yeah.
And so I think it's a slower song, right? The second one, and it's more romantic, I guess. So that it's a signal. Maybe there'll be more romance in this season.
They basically have him in hardcore, doing a lot of dancing and almost kissing in the start, and they just in the first episode had them. It almost showed like they were going to care about each other, but then they curse at each other and storm out. So that's just starting.
Well,
what's going to happen?
They kind of had they probably slept together between seasons. So the other question about the opening is, they did a retcon in the previously on, right? Mm-hmm. So how do you feel about that?
I thought that scene in general was not needed. So I'll say it that way. I mean, I'll get to your question. I'm not going to avoid the question. But in general, having that scene in felt so awkward. And then you have, let's talk about the first version. You have Aquaman being like, oh, that guy calls me a dick, or so, I suck dick. And then, Flash is like, well, you do suck dick. It was very out of character for everyone that spoke there. And then, of course, you have people covered in darkness. You had Wonder Woman and Superman just because you couldn't afford those people.
You can't afford Henry Cavill for 5 seconds.
For 30, and so it
was like the end of Shazam.
Exactly. So it was a bizarre choice. So then in the second one, or in James Gunn's version now, where he wants to change it, because now this movie is super connected to Superman. It's kind of like a sequel to Superman at the moment, because it's not like it's just in the DCU. It's like it has a lot of threads from Superman are being picked up.
Mm-hmm. That orgy scene straight out of Superman.
I mean, that's his harem. I think the harem was found finally, and it's in John Cena's house. I didn't understand that. I mean,
the orgy?
I mean, I understand what an orgy is, but he has one line of cocaine, and then all of a sudden there's an orgy in his house. Do those people just... I thought it was in his mind at first, because at the end of first season, he seems to be relaxing, maybe with a drink, maybe with drugs, but he hallucinates his dad sitting with him at the end of the show. So I figured hallucinations were going to be something that was regular in Peacemaker.
Yeah, so my interpretation of it was... it's kind of like the thing where he sits down and starts doing drugs from the first season. He wakes up in bed with that woman, and then he wakes up and then next to her they zoom out and Vigilante's in bed too.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that, like he's partying.
Yeah.
So the pulling out the emergency cocaine is him, like the start of that, and then it's kind of like a transition to later on. He's invited all his orgy friends over and he's at a party, but he's just not feeling like on the same level of the Peace Depressed, right?
He's trying to fill in for his sadness, and then that's why he ends up wandering to try to go back to his dad. So,
but it's not working, right?
Yeah.
So like he thinks doing drugs and partying and having an orgy will make him feel better, but it's not doing that, right?
Yeah.
Because he's moved into his dad's house because he's inherited it. And he's reminded he killed his dad, he killed his brother.
Have you seen Breaking Bad?
Yeah.
It reminds me of when Jesse Pinkman was depressed after the death of someone. I think the little kid that died, maybe, or
Jessica Ritter, maybe.
I forget exactly, because he was already in the big house. He was already in his parents' house that he bought, Kristen Ritter. But either way, he had a bunch of people over to party, and he was just zoned out, and he just wanted like noise, just to distract him from the fact that he was depressed. So it really reminded me of that. So, but yeah, so then that ends up to him going into like the dimension and all that stuff, which
right. So it was in the first movie. They just didn't explore it that much. It's just like, his dad has his own dimension.
Yeah. Well, it's like they made it like, oh, his dad has a small dimension that he keeps my helmets in and stuff. And then and they didn't really make it like a big deal in the first one. It was just kind of like, oh, the helmet dimension. In the second one, immediately off the bat, it's like, oh, Eagly, you want to fly and it's too cold outside. Let me open up this infinite space for you to go fly in. I thought originally that when he first found the other portal, that he was going to get lost. And that's how this whole thing was going to kick off, because they're doing a multiverse without doing a multiverse, or without calling it the multiverse.
Unclear, like, how he found his way back.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because it seems like it would be an easy place to get lost in.
Yeah.
Right. So he has that neighbor who's like an alien-looking guy.
Yeah.
It's just people in that dimension look like that, I guess.
Well, now he's in the intro, so you figure he's gonna be in more than that just quick scene.
Not necessarily, because in season 1, there's some characters that show up once, and then
the mop guy. You're right, the mop guy and the old guy that's next door. Yeah. Okay, fair enough. Good point.
Minor character, but they end up in the intro.
Yeah.
So, what did you think about the scene with the Justice Gang?
So as far as the back to your original question, which I looped around. It was all right to see them again, but again, I didn't get the point of that scene, because it was like, oh, Waller sent people and they got there too late. Did Waller stall them, or were they really late? Why is Waller involved with the Justice Gang at all? Mm-hmm. We have Nathan Fillion and Hawkgirl in the next scene, anyway, so I don't think we needed them there. It's a retcon that at least it stops people thinking about, Jason Momoa as Aquaman and all, especially because he's Lobo now. You can't have him being two characters. So it was that they had to do it, but it was almost, to me, better to just not reference it and just let it die and let it forget.
It'd be crazy if a comic book movie had like a multiverse thing where two characters are played by the same actor. Like, that would no one would buy it.
Well, no, I mean, I don't think he's a bad Aquaman. It's just, but if they made him Lobo, it's gonna be tough.
I'm making a Robert Downey Jr. joke.
No, I get it. Again, people still don't even know if he's going to actually be Doctor Doom. There's all these rumors. I don't want to talk about the MCU, because I still think that this is that's a whole episode of just what a letdown I think that they're heading towards. Because even if it's a great movie, I think that they're fully just tapping the tank out of anything they could possibly do without resetting. Actually, we'll do that at the end of the episode. I was going to read you Kevin McGuire's series of tweets, and I thought it was brilliant how he broke down the problems with the MCU, as far as he saw it. So,
at the end.
But back to Peacemaker.
Back to Peacemakers. Yeah, so I think you're right. I think that scene caused problems for resetting the DCEU, rather.
Mm-hmm.
If they wanted to keep Peacemaker canon. And I just get the sense James Gunn is just not that, like, oriented toward, here are the hard and fast rules of what's canon. Like, he wants to have some freedom there.
He just wants to have fun and get characters involved and stuff, so.
Yeah, if Peacemaker season 1 happened, then the Suicide Squad, some version of that also happened, right?
Mm-hmm. With Idris Elba and Rat Girl.
And Star, the Destroyer.
Yeah.
And
Polka Dot Man.
Polka Dot Man, yeah. So then maybe other movies versions have happened, but other ones didn't.
It opens up. I mean, it leaves possibilities, but again, I think it was just better to just leave that dead and not reference it directly. Like, you can reference scenes from Peacemaker season 1, but you don't have to reference just the scene at the end, because that also makes just people think about it. So
I'm fine with it. I mean, the other option was to just not do it at all, and we fill in that gap, right?
Yeah.
Like, in our minds is like, okay, that one scene didn't happen.
Yeah.
Or it didn't happen the way we thought. But I thought that was fine.
And then the scene after, I'm happy they got to it quickly, because we've had again, it was something I liked about Superman, where if they're going to show something in a teaser and have like a 30-second or a minute clip, get it out of the way early in the show, because it's like you're still sitting down and settling. It's not like you wait and then that's one of the last scenes. It's like, I already seen this shit. So they got it out of the way, but it was
and it seemed
it
like
was too
most
corny. Like, they're setting it up so that Peacemaker has to save the day, and then they're like, oh, we really need you. But no, he's going to stay with his ragtag group of peacemakers, because they're not actually in the CIA anymore. They're all kind of disbanded.
It seems like most of the tracking turns.
Dealing with technologies beyond our understanding.
Can you believe we went to an institute of technology?
I think about that all the time. Trust me.
The trailer seemed to mostly take from this episode.
Yeah.
So at least, like, they had to do some kind of trailer. And I was going to watch it, so I watched it.
Absolutely.
I'm glad that now that that's out of the way, like, the next episode is a mystery, so I get to experience it completely without spoils.
Yeah. Without any, I mean, they left it on a good cliffhanger, which, spoiler alert for anyone watching, but what's going to be the outcome of him killing a peacemaker from a different... Or, I mean, they might also do the swerve where it's like, well, he's not actually dead, he's just 90% dead. But it does see, especially if they have Roy from The Office, David Denman, or whatever his name is, I recognized his name and I got excited because I liked him in Brightburn as the dad. He's had a lot of cool roles. Of all the Office people outside of Steve Carell, he's probably and Jim Krasinski, he's probably had the best movie career. He's in like a lot of movies. David Denman.
He's kind of like a character actor. Like,
he is. No, he's like a dad type, burly military.
Like the main guy.
Yeah.
But he's a solid enough actor that they'll put him in a scene and speaking roles and that's it.
Well, I didn't know what to expect him as. I was wondering, and then they bring him in as the brother who Peacemaker killed in his dimension.
Mm-hmm. Like the adult version.
The adult version, obviously, yeah. So that's going to be interesting to see what the outcome is there, because they didn't bring David Denman in for one episode, I don't believe.
No. I mean, they did go to like very great pains to make it clear that Peacemaker did not kill this guy like on purpose, and he broke in and he hung out with these people, and then like the alternate dad and alternate brother, and he was like looking, in this universe, Harcourt and I like each other, like which is what he wants, and then the real Peacemaker shows up and is going to shoot him, and he has to defend himself. So the whole thing plays like very uneven. The other Peacemaker has a helmet, has a gun, has a jetpack, and he is like in sweatpants or whatever. So then at the end, he doesn't even kill the guy on purpose. The guy is going to stab him. First two Peacemakers going to stab him, and he hits the jetpack to get the guy off, and he kills him by accident. Because there's some kind of hanging, like stalactite, rod that can kill people. I don't know. That was nuts. But yeah, it was a great cliffhanger. The show's very good with cliffhangers. Like season 1 just was full of them. Especially because I plowed through season 1, so it made it easy to worry about, or easy to solve them. Whereas this one, it's like, man, I got to wait another week now to see what happens. But I'm getting in season 1.
Go ahead.
I didn't know quite what to expect with the plot. With the butterflies or whatever. So it was still able to like pull me along with the mystery box of like, okay, what is this? What's happening?
Yeah.
And in this,
Well, the
there's
ending of
less-
season 1, where there was also the possibility that which was the good butterfly, which were the bad ones, or was he going to actually help the other? They did create a little bit of intrigue there at the last episode. So
Yeah, and so with this one, I mean, it's still the first episode, and they're still setting up the main problem.
Yeah.
It seems like the main problem is going to be somehow related to he wants to go live in this other world where things are better, and he has a family who he hasn't killed yet, and Harcourt likes him, and whatever.
the hell was that?
And he's respected for his superheroing. And then he fucks it up because he's Peacemaker, and that's what he does. So it feels like that's the direction they're going. It doesn't feel like they have the same level. And then there's going to be a plot with Rick Flag chasing after him and trying to
Get
him
even.
killed his son.
But then obviously he has to have the moment where he realizes that Peacemaker is actually good or something. I don't know.
He's reformed a little bit.
Something is gonna be the case with that, it wasn't I don't know. Peacemaker seems to they're trying to walk him back from being a heartless killer and all that because of him not wanting to shoot the kids, even if he didn't know if they were butterflies or not. Just or maybe it was he didn't want to kill the dad in front of the kids, kind of thing. It's hard to say exactly what.
It seemed to me like the point was he started realizing that all of the violence that he had in his life was something his dad had ingrained in him.
Mm-hmm.
And it's coming from this upbringing where his dad is making him fight his brother and then blaming him for killing his brother and treating him like garbage his whole childhood. And he's starting to realize, this is not how I want to live my life.
Yeah.
So he's starting to develop into his own person, right? For the first time at I don't know how old.
40, 45. I mean,
40 something.
He's closer to 45 or 50, but in the show he's probably 35 to 40. I would assume.
Okay.
Maybe that's the way he acts and the way he is. It doesn't matter. Who knows? Who cares? But I exactly what you're saying. Yeah, I see exactly, because he was definitely more of a robot when we first met him in Suicide Squad, and they've been fleshing him out as a person since then. Which is cool.
Or someone who can be redeemed.
Yeah, exactly. Not everyone has is perfect, but and a good villain does have good qualities, and maybe some heroes have some bad qualities too in that same way.
Yeah, and I mean, I think you're supposed to root for him, even though he's kind of a bad guy.
Mm-hmm. Which is fine. But they didn't. But they really they did dial it back, and they gave Vigilante that they had him there, which is a good way to still have the kills happen.
Mm-hmm.
But without having Peacemaker be the bad guy. So that was interesting.
Vigilante is always willing to kill people, but also is he's played kind of for jokes. He's kind of so Super is another James Gunn project movie with Rainn Wilson as the a very similar character to Vigilante.
Yeah.
A similar costume even. So he's playing kind of the Rainn Wilson Super character.
Yeah, more of a silly superhero character, although he is clearly violent and will kill. So it's, yeah. There's a medium there. I don't know. I enjoyed season 1. But season 2. I'm definitely more curious about, because season 1 you knew didn't really matter in the long run with a lot, because of, even though James Gunn was making it, it was during the period where either Marvel was mad at him or he was about to get back to Marvel, but he wasn't in charge of DC yet. He just happened to be doing this project because he did Suicide Squad. So it's a weird time where I don't think he knew he had control of DC yet. So he was just making a show where now season 2, he can tie it in and,
Yeah. That's kind of also interesting that he opens the series with this orgy scene.
Mm-hmm.
That you could imagine there would be a parent who took their kids to see Superman.
Yeah.
And what's the next thing in this?
Yeah.
Is Peacemaker season 2, and they don't watch the first season. They're well, this is the first part in DCEU, and so they watch with their kid, and it's oh, that's a lot of orgy going on.
Yeah.
And now I have to explain this.
Well, in season 1, they flash a vagina at you totally unexpected out of nowhere on the iPad. And it was just like, it was just jarring because you didn't expect that in the show. And I know it's always funny to like show a dick and stuff, but they set a weird standard on the show, I guess. That,
well, it might be just like the shock value of it.
that's what it was, yeah.
Or just like, we're on HBO, we can do this.
Yeah. It was like when the boys had the guy climbing around inside of a person's dick or something. It's like, you didn't really need to have a scene like that. But you can...
Even though they're doing it because they can get away with it, right?
Yeah.
People find it shocking.
Even though it's like a Disney product. So, whatever. I don't care. I enjoy it anyway. I enjoy all the the bloods and the heads exploding when the little butterflies are flying out.
Yeah, all right. So...
Well, cool. Well...
It'll be interesting to see where that goes.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it. I'm definitely more pumped about Alien as far as the shows I'm watching currently. But I'm interested to see where Peacemaker goes.
The other obscure-ish DC characters that are cameoed is White Rabbit, who is a Batman villain who was trying out for the Justice Gang.
Is that's the lady that he was the camel toe? That James Gunn, or not James Gunn, his brother.
Yeah, so it was actually a very comic accurate costume.
Yeah, which is pretty funny.
And then a couple of newspaper headlines about the Ultrahumanite, and then the Rainbow Man, I think it was, or Rainbow Monster.
I liked in the first one he mentioned Matter Eater Lad and stuff. Like they were making good fun references. It wasn't all just like, well, on Corto Maltese I did this. Like, he mentioned stuff that happened in the movie once, but all the other stuff was just kind of ambiguous. That was pretty cool. I like that.
Well, they mentioned Batmite.
Mm-hmm. And especially when he was talking about how much he hates midgets and such.
Well, there's a certain extent to which you're like, he's an unreliable narrator, that kind of stuff, because he's like talking about like all the weird fetishes all the Justice League have. But then also he's like, we know that Batmite is a character in DC Comics.
Yeah.
So maybe it is in the DCEU, even though it doesn't really fit the tone.
It leaves the door open, though. Mm-hmm. That's all you need sometimes.
But for the DCU, I could see it fitting the tone from Superman of having, like, Batmite be something.
Well, because they already introduced Crypto, so they're setting it. Yeah. They're putting the bar pretty high already, I guess, is a good way to say it. But yeah.